Dan, tell me about this match. I mean, you guys did what you had to do. Are you thrilled with the result?
Yeah, I mean, it's so hard in a game like that where you know a point is enough in terms of the mindset and mentality of the players. As much as we try to preach that, we're coming here to try and win the game and think about even at halftime, it was like have the mindset we're going to go and score the first goal in the second half. You start looking at the clock and there's 22 minutes and there's 18 minutes and it's just tough. I don't envy the players in those moments, and they arguably made it harder for themselves because we conceded a lot of territory and we showed, but we showed incredible character and resolve to obviously see it through and get the job done. So not an easy place to come and get a result, and one the boys will remember for a long time.
What allowed you to see it through tonight?
I mean, how long you got? Mark, Max Broughton, Max Trethaway, Dante Huckabee, Freddie Jorgensen, keep going, Carlos Hernando, Otto and Bear, unbelievable. I mean, you think about that defensive structure, the back line and the two defensive midfielders in front, and arguably to a man, right? In terms of the work that was required, it was a very, very different type of performance and very, very different type of, playing style for us. We don't normally concede that much territory or that much possession, but like I said, the context of the situation is so unique that it's very, very hard not to fall susceptible to playing in that style, and they did what they had to do today.
Coach, what does it mean to win a title, just in the league and just for your program?
It means a ton. We've not done that yet. The one thing that we walked away from last season was a really magical historical season with not necessarily a trophy or an accolade along the way to recognise it. Obviously, one of the things that we set our stall out this year was to make sure we pick up some silverware and some hardware on the way. And if there's one thing this program hasn't had a great deal of over its 64 years existence, is it's enough conference titles, conference championships, tournament titles in that regard. So there was an emphasis on this team to do something that the team last year hadn't done, right? To do something that the team in recent years since I've been here have yet to achieve. So it's a really, really special moment. It's the first time in nearly 20 years to undefeated win the conference. So it's something that will stay with the memory, and I'll have something else collecting dust in the office here soon.
How important is that number one seed in the Sun Belt tournament? All games got to go through Morgantown as long as you're playing.
Yeah, it's huge given the advantage that we have continued to show at home, right? I think undefeated now through 2 regular seasons, 3 of the last 4 regular seasons, 1 loss in the last 4 years at home. The guys can take a ton of confidence that when we play at Dick Delesk, we're a really formidable opponent. To know that if you can advance through undoubtedly what will be a tricky conference quarterfinal, I would assume we're going to be playing someone that's playing for their lives, right? Playing to continue their season. You can't underestimate those games at this stage. I'd like to feel like the result today has probably done enough to shore up our place in the national tournament. But now we have, as you said, an advantage. We get to play at home potentially for 3 games, and why not go and win a conference tournament at this stage?
Coach Grassi talked about how this might have been the most complete performance his team has had all year. I know you've coached against him a lot, obviously have a lot of history and friendship with him. Just, from your perspective, where does that performance from his guys rank among the times you've seen him?
Yeah, they're good. They're good. We know they're good. So are we. We had to do it a slightly different way, and we elected to do it a slightly different way the longer the game evolved. What they did today was very, very different to what I felt I saw against Kentucky for them, quite honestly. That was a really, really different performance. So it's kind of horses for courses. Chris is willing to tinker and to adjust based on the context of his opponent, and obviously some of the adjustments they made today were effective, and we struggled to solve a few things early to build pressure higher up the field, which again is partly why we were a little bit more defensive oriented, because they were very, very effective in the way that they built the game at times and offered solutions that, with respect, we hadn't necessarily seen on tape and prepared for. So in the game, in an environment like that where there's a lot of noise, it's very, very difficult to help the players with some of those solutions in the moment. And arguably the adjustment we made at halftime probably created certainly less transition moments for them, less moments where they broke pressure and came downhill quickly, which we felt was the biggest risk, but certainly allowed them to have more of the ball and more of the territorial dominance. That was kind of what we had to sacrifice when we made some of the adjustments at half time. They're they're in the top 10 for a reason. We like to feel like we are too. And again, I think it's a credit to Chris and what he's achieved here at Marshall and what we feel like we're building at West Virginia, that 3 of the last 4 years this has been a top 10 game. So for that spectacle, for that type of occasion, you know, I said to the players, like, you've earned this, right? Like, you've earned this opportunity to play in front of a packed stadium, to play for something that matters, to play for a title. Only good teams get to do that, right? And there were 2 good teams out there today.
Dan, meaningful for this to happen. You know, you won one of these as a player in the Big East. Meaningful for it to happen at your alma mater.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. You know, the way the last couple of weeks kind of played out with the JMU game, with 2 minutes left, and obviously the challenges we faced at Coastal. Yeah, it's hard not for a little bit of doubt to creep in that, are we going to let this one slip away? But with respect to as good as Marshall was today, I think over the course of the 9 conference games that we've played this year, I do believe we were the best team in the conference over the body of work that we showed. So, yeah, I felt like we deserved this, but then you've got to go and prove it and you've got to go and show it. And like I said, the guys dug really deep tonight to get it done.